Madam Clerk, need a motion to close the executive session and the council hall.
And before we do that, just want to note for the record, we did talk about the property tax appeal involving 3 University Plaza, and we also talked about the Shepherd litigation. So those were the cases that were talked about in closed session. Thanks.
Okay, so we need a motion for the executive.
Motion.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
And now we need a motion to close the count.
Need a motion to close the count.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Okay, moving forward, I need a motion for the approval of the minutes of the regular.
We still have to actually open the meeting.
Like to reopen? Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead.
This is a new
You're on.
meeting.
Yep.
This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, NJSA 10:4-6 et sec, notice of which was sent to the record in the Star Ledger and was posted on the municipal bulletin board.
Okay, roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Here.
Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Here.
Mayor LaBrus.
Here. Could everybody please rise for the flag salute?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, there are no proclamations or presentations this evening. I need a motion for the approval of the minutes of the regular Cow and executive meetings of March 8th, 2022.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Okay. City managers report, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Our tax collector, Ms. Elisa Cochia, has initiated a collection effort with Ascension Church in Clifton called Unity for Ukraine. It began yesterday, Monday, March 21st, and all are welcome to donate items that are listed on our social media platforms. There will be a box that's located in City Hall in the main entrance to collect your donation items, and we appreciate your participation in this humanitarian relief drive. The annual Easter egg hunt is scheduled for April 11th at Johnson Park on the turf field. The Bergen County Job Center will be outdoors at the Johnson Public Library on March 30th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Slam Dunk the Junk is scheduled for April 30th. Registration started on March 1st. Organizations that wish to participate, please register. Hackensack Health Department will host a kickoff event for Hackensack Walks on Wednesday, March 30th at the Recreation Center. Please join Hackensack for a 6-week community weight loss challenge. The City of Hackensack will be hosting their 28th annual golf outing, which will take place on June 16th. Details for all our events and notices can be found at hackensack.org under the Events or Headlines tab for your future reference. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. All right, new business. I need to motion to remove resolution 12522 off the table, please.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Okay, this was, this is a resolution now for the final adoption of ordinance number 5-2022, ordinance adopting the 463, 483 Main Street redevelopment plan consisting of block 411 lots 2.1, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 18. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Okay. Need a motion to open the public, please.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anybody from the public who wants to speak only to this ordinance that we're talking about here in this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing nobody from the public, motion to close the public.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Aye. Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Motion to adopt the ordinance, please.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Aye. Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 5-2022 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 126-22.
This is a resolution for final adoption of ordinance number 6-2022. Ordinance adopting amended Lot T redevelopment plan for the delineated redevelopment area consisting of Block 305, Lot 2, under the city's scattered sites redevelopment designation for the development of inclusionary affordable housing. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Need a motion to open to the public, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Aye. Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anybody from the public who'd like to speak to this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing no one from the public, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Aye. Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Motion to adopt the ordinance, please.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Aye. Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 6-2022 has passed the second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 127-22.
This is a resolution for the final adoption of ordinance number 13-2022. Ordinance adopting 123 Anderson Street redevelopment plan for the delineated redevelopment area consisting of Block 425, Lot 1. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Need a motion to open to the public.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Aye. Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Need a motion to adopt the ordinance.
No, motion.
I'm sorry. Motion
Anyone
to,
speak?
anybody, my bad, motion. Anybody from the public who'd like to speak to this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward.
Good evening, my name is Bridget, resident of Hackensack, taxpayer and stakeholder. Yes, I want to speak on the Anderson Street project. We know, we heard, we have been informed about the selling of the lot that sits with Walgreens but do you realize the massive traffic and the massive accidents that actually happen in that area? Do you guys even have a clue of what really goes on? And as the city manager, I'm quite sure with the police department, you are aware of how many accidents have happened in that area. Now you're talking about buildings around the corner in that lot. I'm just a little confused. And then you're in the position with the greater action community. That's another thing. Like, you guys don't even come to the community to ask the questions or try to find out the concerns of the people who live in the area. You're just doing your own thing at the cost of $1. You talk about diversity, inclusionary, and all of the other stuff that you kind of say that you are, but you're not. You're being very secretive. You're not giving the public knowledge to know what's going to happen here. We who live in that community want to stay a community, not become what you guys want it to be. You have to include community. And you guys have not done that. And then when you say, when someone calls you out of being racist, you're so quick to say, I'm not racist. But look what you're trying to do here. You're going to put people out of jobs, businesses that have been in that area for 40 years. Just look at the stuff that you're doing. Just think about it before you even adopt this ordinance. Come into the community and ask the community, what would they like to see here? affordable housing would have been one of the things that we should have seen in that area. Because that's a fourth ward area. That's what we should have seen. Then that way, these people here, whose mosques that you want to take away from them, wouldn't have to be here.
Thank you.
I'm gonna speak to that before we move on. People sitting here have nothing to do with the sale of the mosque, and there'll be public comment on that, I'm sure, later. We don't own the mosque, we're not selling the mosque, whatever that's happening, the mosque is between the mosque and the people that own the mosque. Has nothing to do with the developer. The developer made an offer to buy the mosque, that did not happen, so as far as I know, the mosque isn't even for sale. That said, the project on Anderson Street would be a great improvement to the area. Everything about these projects are done in the open, full transparency, with planning board meetings. They come before us, has to go through a full cycle of coming before the council, being sent down to see if it's worthy of being designated as an area redevelopment. From there it goes to the planning board, from the planning board, whether they approve it or not, it goes all the way back, and every one of those meetings is held in public. Nothing behind closed doors. So I resent the remark that this is all done behind closed doors and the public isn't aware of it. Everything is labeled, everything is announced ahead of time, and it's all done in the open. Anybody else in the public want to speak on this ordinance? Motion to close to the public.
Offer. Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Aye. Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Aye. Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Need a motion to adopt the ordinance, please.
Offer. Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Aye. Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Aye. Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and the State of New Jersey that ordinance number 13-2022 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 128-22.
This is a resolution for final adoption of ordinance 14-2022, ordinance amending the City of Hackensack redevelopment plan governing the Main Street area in need of rehabilitation. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Need a motion to open to the public?
Offer. Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Aye. Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Aye. Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anybody from the public who'd like to speak to Resolution 128-22, please come forward. Seeing no one from the public, motion to close to the public.
Offer. Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Aye. Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Aye. Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anybody from the public who'd like to speak to this ordinance and this ordinance only? We just did that.
You just did that. You just
I'm
closed
around
it
for
out.
Ms. Rucker. Need a motion to adopt.
Offer. Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Aye. Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Aye. Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 14-2022 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 129-22.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 15-2022, an ordinance to amend chapter 117 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Parks to allow the city manager to establish certain administrative rules for the use of city parks and lands.
Need a motion, please?
Offer. Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Aye. Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Aye. Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 15-2022 as introduced is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on April 5th, 2022 at 8:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law, with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Was that 129 or 1? Yes.
Yes.
Resolution 130-22.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 16-2022, An ordinance to amend chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Vehicles and Traffic to update parking regulations on Linden Street between Clinton Place and Anderson Street.
Need a motion, please?
Offer. Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 16-2022 is introduced, is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on April 5th, 2022, at 8:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and at the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 131-22.
This is a resolution authorizing transfer of 2021 budget appropriations.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 132-22.
This is a resolution authorizing 2022 temporary budget appropriations.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 133-22.
This is a resolution authorizing awarding of bid contracts for Clay Street Combined Sewer Separation Contract Number 2 to Roman E&G Corp.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 134-22.
This is a resolution authorizing award of bid contract to National Water Main Cleaning for sanitary sewer CCTV inspections in the Anderson drainage area.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 135-22.
This is a resolution authorizing award of contract for engineering services 2022 road resurfacing program to Naglia Engineering Associates.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 136-22.
This is a resolution authorizing tax refund for state board judgments, duplicate payments, and taxes.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 137-22.
This is a resolution designating block 113.04, lots 39 through 42, block 100.02, lot 9, block 113.01, lot 1, and block 113.03, lots 25 and 32, otherwise known as Stony Hill, as an area in need of rehabilitation.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 138-22.
This is a resolution authorizing payment of bills.
Need a motion to pay the bills?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Okay, before we move forward with the consent agenda, I have one conflict. I need resolution 139-22 pulled. Anyone else have a conflict in the consent agenda? Hearing none, please move forward.
The following items are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted in one motion. Any items requiring expenditure are supported by a certification of availability of funds. Any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda, and consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes, including any exceptions and/or additions. The consent agenda consists of resolutions 140-22 through 146-22. Resolution 140-22 is a resolution designating Lisa Marie Shaleli as recycling coordinator and authorizing submission of recycling tonnage grant application. Resolution 141-22 is a resolution authorizing leave of absence for Edith Garcia, violations clerk in municipal court from March 8, 2022 to March 22, 2022. Resolution 142-22 is a resolution authorizing endorsement of proposed Bergen County Community Development Grants for 2022. Resolution 143-22 is a resolution authorizing recreation refund for park permit deposit. Resolution 144-22 is a resolution concurring with Planning Board's redevelopment investigation findings regarding Block 402, lots 12, 16.01, and 16.02, 360, 374, and 375 Main Street, and designating it as an area in need of redevelopment for non-condemnation purposes. Resolution 145-22 is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a federal aid cost reimbursement agreement with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for Main Street streetscape improvements. And Resolution 146-22 is a resolution authorizing disposal of obsolete equipment no longer needed by the Hackensack Fire Department by donating it for use in responding to the emergency in Ukraine. We need a motion.
Need a motion, please.
Offer. Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 139-22.
Okay, this is a resolution authorizing a raffle license for tomorrow's children's fund.
Need a motion, please.
Offer. Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
I abstain.
That's
Okay.
it.
Need a motion to open to the public, please.
Offer. Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. At this time, anybody from the public who would like to speak, please come forward to the podium, give your name to the clerk, and whether you live in Hackensack, sir. Everybody gets 3 minutes, so you'll be on the, who has the timer?
Right, you got
Okay.
the clock?
Good evening.
Good
My
evening.
name is Kamal Al-Faqi, and I live in Hasbrook Heights. I used to live in Hackensack,
Mhm.
which is 14. Obviously, I have family members here, and I'm a member of the mosque here. And we are here today to make our position clear. We as a community, as a Muslim community, who live and work around Hackensack, we are opposed to selling our mosque that we have been playing in for the last 20 years. I'm a co-founder of the mosque. This building was purchased from Knights of Columbus in 2002, and we paid it off, and it's already tax exempt. We have no reason to sell it, and I'd like to ask the developer, if he's here, or anyone representing the developer, to get their hands off our mosque and stay away from our community. We are not against the project. We love the city of Hackensack, and we love every success that can lead our life in the city of Hackensack. But we do not need anyone to come against us and harm us spiritually, religiously, and in all means. Please help us accommodate our needs as well as we are helping to be a good citizen in the city of Hackensack. We have a litigation and have what's called notice of lease business against the sale, and have made copies for you so you can see. We have a court holding off the sale of the mosque. We are not against the project. We just need everyone to hear our concerns, our issues. We're worried about traffic issues, we're worried about parking issues, and you name it. We are not going to suffer because of a new building that's being built. We ask every one of you to take it into consideration. We have lived and worked around Hackensack for 20 years in peace. We are not troublemakers. We live here as good citizens. We are not here to harm anyone. Please accommodate our needs so that we continue to work and live in Hackensack in peace. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next person, please.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
My name is Samir Ali. I'm one of the Hackensack residents of taxpayers. And I have one question that I need to be answered either by the community or by the people who are sitting in the hall here.
Mm-hmm.
When I enjoy this place, we built it and we pay for it. We hired the people who run this facility to just run it. They don't have the power of attorney to sell it or to buy it even. So when we don't need them, we let them go. I don't know where they got this power of attorney to sell the place or to even to think about selling. This is my question now. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna answer a couple of questions. The city has no power here in the sale of the mosque itself. The mosque is owned, if I'm not mistaken, by the mosque, correct? By the Muslim community. So no one's forcing anybody to sell anything. So what I'm asking you is, it sounded like you want this project to not move forward, the development of the building.
Benefit of that, yes.
So you're talking about costing the city of Hackensack multi-millions of dollars, and including over 60 affordable housing units, which we are required by the state of New Jersey to build to meet our obligation for fair share housing. With respect to that, if we don't build those 60 units or come up with them somewhere else, we stand a chance of having our affordable trust fund from affordable housing, which developers have been paying into, confiscated by the state of New Jersey. So the city is not in a position to say somebody can't build there, right? In other words, you mentioned parking. You don't own the parking lot, correct? So, but that doesn't mean you get to use it forever. I mean, you know, I've stepped in many times when there were problems with the parking down there. One of your members of your congregation who I know called me for help, and I was more than happy to come down there because I actually spoke to this tonight. I said on Sundays, all the Catholic churches park all over the place and nobody gave them a ticket. Every Friday afternoon at 1 o'clock, we're out handing out tickets, and I put an end to that, right? Because that wasn't right. Because if you're gonna do that, then you should be out there on Sunday writing tickets at the Catholic churches too. That's the way I looked at it. But that said, we don't own the parking lot. The citizens of Hackensack own the parking lot, all right? It's there, and this is part of their redevelopment project. So, you know, I understand the dilemma, because from what I can see, there's a division within your mosque, right? Between certain people that wanted to sell it and certain people, you guys, who don't want to sell it, correct? So that's where the problem lies. The mosque, I have no problem with the mosque staying there, nor does the developer. Parking will have to work out. We always work things out, but the building's gonna be there. There's no issue with the city at all. We have absolutely no say in it.
John, if I may, just to be clear, because we talked about this development tonight in one of our early ordinances, the development that's planned currently, development that's moving forward currently, right now, does not include the mosque. It does not. Okay, so what was on here tonight does not include the mosque. Everything that the developer has done, the sale, whatever happened, the developer said the mosque does not want to sell, we will build without the mosque. So everything that is moving forward today, tonight on this agenda, all discussions that are happening now with the city, does not include the mosque. So I want to be crystal clear that you understand what I'm telling you. Now, in the future, at this point, because the plans are really made and the plans are moving forward, I don't even know if anyone would be interested in buying it at this point, because they're already starting to move forward without it. They've already got, we have preliminary plans we're looking at, we have a redevelopment plan tonight that's on for it, and if it were to include the mosque, the number of units that would be built there would be more. When I talk about this at the end of the meeting, like I usually do, there's only 268 units that are gonna be built there. That does not include the mosque, and 60 of them are affordable housing, and that's critical for this city, that we have a need for affordable housing. This developer is gonna help us satisfy that need, and that's why it's very, very important to the city. The city is still going to have not only the same number of parking spots we've had before, we're actually going to have a few more than we had before. Some of it is going to be surface parking, like you're used to seeing. So for example, from where the mosque is going west, going towards Union, right? That's gonna remain surface lot. That's gonna just be a surface lot. It's gonna be paved, there's gonna be striped, there's gonna be parking spots. In addition, the developer is building a garage, multiple garages for himself, but also for the city. And that leg of the garage, okay, so if you're thinking, you're looking west, right, Union. So if I went north, right, that leg there, there will be a garage there. I think it's 2 or 3, don't hold me to it, I can't remember everything, I tried. 2 or 3 floors, let's say, of parking, of which the city will have the same number of spots, plus a few more than it ever had before. And in addition, we're currently still in discussion, you have to understand, this is early, we're still talking with the developer. But we're even trying to say on the top floor of that garage, we're looking at making it a green space and an amenity space for the public. That, you know, hey, if you want to go sit and enjoy a nice day, that on top of that garage, we're trying to get some green space added there too, where there really isn't and hasn't been there for a very long time. So I think we have a very good relationship with this developer. I think he wants to work with the city and with the mosque. He has no issues at all. We had Plan A, Plan B. The only reason Plan B was including the mosque is because he reached out, and whoever he spoke to, which obviously was not people that are here tonight, was willing to talk about selling the mosque. But when that decision changed, the plans went back without it, and that's what we're approving and talking about tonight. So I hope that satisfies. I see people's hands, and we'll let you come speak and handle them, but I just wanted to make it crystal clear so that everybody understands, okay?
Thank you.
Put your hands up, if you have a question, just please come up, give your name to the clerk, you have 3 minutes, thank you.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Mayor Babrasi, been in the mosque committee before. My name is Ahmed Daukasha, former president of Bergen County Islamic Education Center. You've been in the mosque too many before. Council, Carl, you've been at the mosque too many times before.
I've been there too.
Okay. You've been there too. As I said, I am a former president of the Bergen County Islamic Education Center. My family go there all the time. My kids go there all the time. We want the benefit for Hackensack City because we love Hackensack City. Having affordable houses in Hackensack, that will benefit every one of us. And we as American citizens, we pay our tax to have benefit for Hackensack City because we love Hackensack City. During the developer, what I understood now, the developer will build his building next to our mosque, which is a great news. We love that. We have no problem. But during this time, what kind of security for my family, for my kids, when they go to the mosque, during his work, is he gonna give us a secure access to our mosque? Is he gonna give us a secure, during his construction, nothing is gonna happen to our building? This is actually, we need to have an answer from the developer during his work. You guys will take our parking spot, which we rented for the past 20 years. We are a godfather of renting this parking spot. You guys will take it away because we just rent it, we don't own it. Does this guy, he's gonna provide us with the parking during his work? Because we need that.
There'll still be surface parking lot
So we'll be
on the
parking.
backside,
Okay,
west of you, and there'll be spots in the garage on the lower end.
great. So I'm worried about my kids when they go there. I'm worried about my wife when she go and pray there. I'm worried about every one of those family members when they go to the mosque and pray during his construction. Thank you.
Okay, I'll speak to that. What most builders have to do is put up what they call a performance bond, which will cover them in case there's any type of, God forbid, there was any type of accident or anything, but he would have to cover any damage to your buildings, possessions or anything of that nature. He will have to make sure that you have clear access in and out. I know there's an entrance in the front. By fire code, you have to have 2 exits, one out the front, you're gonna need one out the side, or you already have one out the side to one side. He'll need to make arrangements that you can still exit your building properly and safely. So he just can't come in and you know, make a mess of your building and make sure that you're not safe. That's not gonna happen. The fire department's not gonna let that happen.
Thank you.
I'm a safety officer with the hospital. We have major construction going down there now. And one of the things we do is make sure all the safety features and everybody that works in the main hospital while the rest of the hospital is being built is kept safe, exits, ways to get out, that fumes from the construction or dust isn't affecting your services or any festivities you might have at your mosque. That's not going to happen. So the Board of Health and the City of Hackensack Fire Department and Police Department would oversee that.
Thank
And the
you.
building.
Thank you.
Next person, please. I see you have to come up. Go ahead. Just form a line if you want to speak.
Good evening. My name is Hassan Mahmoud. Been around the mosque for 20 years. Just have a few concerns, one of which you already addressed. But the word that got us into this conflict is basically that the city is almost demanding that the building to be sold.
No, never.
You clarified it.
Never happened.
I agree with you. There is nothing really from the city to force the mosque to be sold. I could care less what's gonna be happening in this parking lot, whether it's development or anything for the benefit of the city. It's all for good. We don't have any issue with that. We're not restricting or demanding or protesting the project itself. That is not our concern at all. I see the development plan that includes the mosque in it. That's what I would like to see. I would like to make sure that the building would be safe before, during, and after.
Yep.
What I would like from the city to know that there is no ease of any restriction on the development. You see a large building going up all over Hackensack with a small building next to it. I want my building to be as safe and secure during the process, same as all of those buildings. Also, during the construction, the word is, streets will be blocked. You're not gonna be able to get in and out, all of this stuff. I know, I'm an engineer by trade, and I know that cannot happen. This is just not the Wild Wild West, that you could just go and do whatever. So, my main concern is, we'll work with you during the construction. You'll work with us to perform our services, and thereafter, everybody's happy. We know that we don't own the parking lot. Our main issue is to find an alternative to the parking lot, and with your help, we definitely can do that. And thank you for your time, and hopefully the project will go along, and our service on our mosque will stay where it is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I can tell you this, as with any project, especially one that involves a building, going near another building or around the building, there's gonna be growing pains, especially during the construction.
We do understand that.
We've had that all through the city, on every project we've done. We've had to close public streets in certain cases. But it's all worth it in the end. You know, no pain, no gain. But, again, before, and I recommend you guys, it's coming before the planning board again. This has to come in front of the planning board, this project. This doesn't end, this is just an approval for us to send it back. The planning board will be looking at this. I recommend going there, and then you can listen to the planning board, the whole presentation of this project. You'll get to see exactly what it's gonna look like, what their plans are, and that's you know what you need to do. Send a contingency from your congregation to the planning board so you can see what's going on. All right, and that's the transparency part. It's all done in public. You can see it. It gets open to the public, you can make comment on it, and even recommendations if you'd like, and that's important for you to see it. So, and nothing moves forward without you being heard, all right? So that's an important part for you to know, all right? It doesn't stop here just because this part got designated. It has to move forward throughout the city. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Your Honor. My name is Hassan Gabbar. I'm here with two of my colleagues, Asim Abdel Majid and Ala Jawish. Three of us, we are representing Bergen County Islamic Center. We are not being hired by the Bergen County Islamic Center, we're being elected. We have bylaws that govern the state county Islamic centers. So if anything has to go through, it has to go through the board of trustees. We are here to first thing, thank you very much for the city of Hackensack for all the good things that has been given us. During Fridays, during Ramadan, all the other stuff. We will not be an obstacle for the city of Hackensack for this new project. we do have an obstacle right now. We tried to sell the masjid for the developer. We have an obstacle. We bought a new building, 7278 Main Street, to move the mosque over there. But we did have an obstacle against us in the court, and we are trying to solve that. So hopefully, if we solve that problem, we will be moving our mosque to that location. If not, then we'll stay over here. But in any way, please, no one is representing the PCIC, Bergen County Islamic Center, except for the Board of Trustees that have been elected by the Board of Trustees.
False.
Anything else, anyone else?
We own these buildings.
They are
Everybody
not
has to
even
speak.
members.
Objection around.
You know, members?
Yeah,
They are not even members of
This
of
is
the
not
board.
correct.
So when somebody comes here and talk, you have to talk and to have to be honest, not to talk on the behalf of the Bergen County Islamic Center. We've been elected.
The board he said to us, the board he said to us, the city of Hackensack, he pushed us to move from here.
Let me have it, let me have it. And I understand exactly what's going on
Thank you
here.
very much. We will not be an obstacle. We need your help. Hopefully the city of Hackensack will keep giving us help during the Ramadan, during the Friday prayers. And I said, like I said before, if things go through with the new development and we can still move, with your help, we'll move. If not, still we need your help. But the only thing has to go through Bergen County Islamic Center. Don't listen to anybody. What? Represent us. When you talk about yourself. Do not listen, talk about Bergen County Islamic Center. You are not here to represent us. When anybody been elected, you can talk about the Bergen County Islamic Center. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
23 seconds.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to make something perfectly clear here. This is a public meeting and all members of the public are welcome to speak and everybody is heard. And that's all I'll say. Next, sir.
Good evening, Mayor. My name is Adil Ayman. I'm previous resident of Hackensack. Now I live in Nutley. I'm one also of the founder of the mosque. And to respond to my brother, we elected him to govern the mosque for 2 years or 4 years. And we went to court to remove him from the board. And we went to court to stop the sale. And we have a judgment from the judge at the court to stop the sale for him. I appreciate your clarifying the existing of the mosque next to the project. It's very clear. I only have one question. The city offered us to rent 30 spots for almost 20 years now.
Right.
Can we ask the city to continue this, to guarantee us the 30 spots? Even if you can remove the spots to different areas.
There will be a tough time during construction when that's not going to be possible, but afterwards. it will
After
be possible.
construction.
Yeah,
Not
so we're
not
going to have some
during
growing
construction.
pains, finding a place for you folks to park, and we'll work something out.
Yeah, please,
But-
because we can also buy a spot.
Until those
We offer to
spots
buy,
are
we
gone.
can buy.
Well, they're usually leased out.
We can lease it, we can buy it. We need the help of the city to
Right.
guarantee
That's-
at least 30 spots.
That's up for this gentleman in the parking utility to
And
decide.
you know that the Muslim community is part of Hackensack community.
Oh, nobody
And we are
doubts
in
that.
need of these spots.
No, we know that, we know that.
So,
And-
we appreciate it if you can arrange after the construction, assigning the city spots.
No, there will be spots assigned to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next, please. It's on.
So my name's Abdul. I'm actually the attorney representing the community in stopping the sale of the mosque. And we filed an emergent application and we got an injunction to stop the sale of the mosque. I know today's here, the ordinances were specific to the affordable housing units, but obviously my clients have certain concerns regarding the project. And I do appreciate you, Mayor, you addressing those issues, the parking issue, the construction and all that. So that was their primary concern. Fortunately, the judge issued a injunction stopping the sale. It seems like the redeveloper is moving forward without trying to buy the mosque. And, my clients are misinformed by the present board of the mosque stating that the city that's pushing for the sale. So I do appreciate you, Deputy Mayor, addressing that as well. Thank you for your time, and we really appreciate you working with the community here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you all, and we appreciate you here in Hackensack too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Gamal Salim. I am representative of the community of Islamic Center of Bergen County. The gentlemen who talk about the board, they think they are the one responsible of the Muslim community. Unfortunately, they don't know what they do. They went to sell 2 houses that used to be owned by the community that was paying the expenses of the mosque. A piece of land, they sold it without telling the community. I just would like to have your judgment. If you are responsible for the community who hired you, aren't you supposed to tell them what you're gonna do? So we do not trust these guys, basically. We are forbidden to do our prayer in the mosque because of these people. And this is against our religion. So by all means, we need your help to keep our mosque. It is not for sale. I am engineer. I'm building schools. I know the herder of construction and what happens around construction. As you said, we're going to get an agreement between the developer and the mosque. And we have many people who are skilled engineers and business people who understand business, not some people who have no clue what they do. I never voted for these guys. I applied for membership for this mosque for so many times, they refused my membership. And when I tell them about something positive, they don't accept it. I'm a construction manager. I have so many people working under me. Everybody listens to me, but not these guys. So again, I would say that I don't trust them, and I would like for you not to listen to them. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Magdi Abdullah. I'm a former president for Streetscape, Bergen County Islamic Center. We are like brothers over here all together. We appreciate it. This is the first time we hear what's going on because we hear different stories. Like the city, they want to move us from the mosque. I appreciate it. We hear very good news here. The only thing I want to explain to our brothers is we have a constitution and by law for the mosque. Yes, you are elected. We elected some people to running the masjid day by day. How to running, how to pay the bills, how to, if you want to fix the bathroom, all this, day by day, yes. But when you come to the point to sell the property, this is in the constitution what we have Article 6. They say you have to ask all community Muslim. It doesn't mean only the board of you guys. No, it has to be all. What they mean all is not going to be all the Muslim in the world. No, but you should have a meeting. You call all the Muslim because when we pay, because this is not owned by the board. It's owned by all Muslim community. When we get the donation, we go all over the Muslim, all over. Doesn't have to be only in Hackensack to help to buy the mosque. Now, if you say we have no right, this is not America. America, everyone has a right to speak and to talk and to explain. Like here, we see everybody come. Like I hear you say, anybody want to say something? Yes, this is it. Now, if the board want to say it, he cannot say by the constitution, by the mosque. Nobody can say it. Okay? So we have to have, it's not your problem. It's our problem.
But it's a problem, so we want to.
But just we want to explain what's going on. It's a board, if we want to sell, we not agree as a members. Don't say we're not the members, because They're very simple, easy. They say, we revoke your membership. Why? Because we refuse to sell our message. You just revoke our membership. That is not freedom. We have freedom of speech, you have an idea, you have to discuss. But if you have a closed mind and you don't want to talk about it, and you don't want to find solution, and now clear, as you said, there's not going to be no problem at all. So why are we going to sell the mosque? Why are we going to sell the mosque? There is no reason. There is no need. Thank you so much for everything. I appreciate it.
Albert, do you have any drawings of the renderings of Lot K showing the mosque is in place?
I could probably dig something up because I'm gonna try to do that.
I want to show you that so that you'll see this, so you know that the developer's moving forward. And the mosque is still there.
We saw it, we saw pictures.
What we
You
heard,
saw the one without the
what
mosque.
we heard from the board is.
We see the picture.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, we see.
Yeah, we
The
saw
one
it.
without the mosque.
Yeah,
With
There
the
were two
mosque.
steps, one with, one without. We're
Yeah.
using the one without the mosque.
yeah, but the board does not listen to anybody.
Yeah.
Like Egypt, like the president of Egypt now. No,
We're in America, man, we're in America. Sit down, we're in America.
Yes, sir.
God bless America.
Salah and Gauss, on board with the member, the trustee of Hackensack, Berry County Islamic Center. When the city talked to us last March through the Zoom conference, and they tell us about the projects, and we welcome the projects. And then the developers offer us to buy the building. In the 2 years or two and a half years of the project itself is going to have a hardship on the center regarding the parking. And the building itself is over 120 years old. So the board thought that if we relocate to a new location, which is a mile away from the block in Main Street, this is better opportunity for the community to grow. So this lot is 1.25 acre, have 80 parking spots, and have the potential to build it
I'm
to the
aware.
second and third floors.
I've seen it.
So that's what we thought about it, it's good for the community. Plus this center until now, it's registered as a social club, it's not a wall shared house. And that's why I'm going to move to a new place where we registered as a wall shared house, it will be much better for the community in the long term. So that's our thought about it. We're not
Understood.
selling we just didn't go to sleep and woke up to, and let's go sell. No, we look for the future, for the community. And the 15, 20 people here that represent themselves, not the community, all right? That's another point we have to take into consideration. Because the majority of the people that attend the brain in the center, they agree about moving.
Everybody gets their 3 minutes, please.
And that's why some of them have been blocked from entering the center because this attitude, when they come to the center and make all kind of disturbance to the service, all right? So I just want to clear, we try to cooperate with the city. We wanted the city to develop. This building is too old, need to be redeveloped soon. We're willing to relocate to a new building, and we need the help of the city to achieve that. Thank you, sir.
Gentlemen, please.
See that officer? This guy's cursing him right there.
Yeah, he's cursing first. He's
First.
Guys, let's have some decorum. We're gonna stay peaceful here. We're gonna listen to everybody speak. Everybody gets their 3 minutes, all right? Nobody up here is making a decision on anything. We're here to listen, all right? Thank you. Next person, please. Go ahead. Thank you. 3 minutes.
I
if you sorry because they left, because I want to listen what they want to say. It's true we bring these people to the board of trustees, but it's not because I bring you, you can do anything you want. There is a community. These people who bought this building wasn't there. I was there. My kids was newborn. Today my son is at school, he have 3 kids. He wanna bring his kids here. So suddenly these people come and they just wanna sell it, and they say the community wanna buy it. They wanna sell it. Is that true? I am a member in this mosque. One of the community. They never send me a letter to say, listen, come for a meeting, we're gonna sell the building. They sell 2 houses already in this line. They never asked me. I brought my kids to this bus when they was less than a year. Today they are 32 and 31. They have kids. And they just want to sell it like this. It's like if you are in a family house, your father left you a house, and you want to keep it, your sister want to keep it, your brother want to keep it, and one of them, he just want to sell it because he don't like the area. That's no good. This board of trustees wasn't there when we buy the mosque. They wasn't there. They come after we buy this mosque. I was selling for people to donate to the mosque, and I collect, I don't know how many $1,000 I did bring to the mosque, and I bring people to come and play here. I opened 2 businesses in Hackensack. One was 234 Main Street, and one is 216 Central Avenue. We never have problems. I did, I never bought for them. But now it's like I feel sorry for the people who brought these people to the mosque. And for some money, they just went and sell 2 houses and piece of land. And today we don't have it, and now the buy building, they say it's $3 million, they bought $1 million there, and they want the rest of the money, that's why they want to sell this mosque. But we don't want. Me, myself, my kids grow here. I don't want them to go. My son is by school in Jersey. But he come here every Friday, or at least every year in Ramadan. He bring his friend, non-Muslim. They come with him, he bring his father and everybody. So please, just, we have to find a way to stop selling this mosque.
Albert, did you have anything for us?
Yeah, where is the mosque with the?
Where?
I want to see the mosque.
See on the television?
So,
We're sending it to Frank. We're sending it to Frank, so hold on.
No,
Oh,
Frank.
not okay, but you
I'm not-
and Frank can put it up on the monitor.
so Mayor, I'm not exactly sure what image you're looking for. I guess you're looking for the rendering that's in the amended redevelopment plan. Or are you
Well, the most recent, it shows the
The one that
project,
shows the rendering without the mosque.
shows the project with the
With the
mosque in
mosque.
place.
Well, clearly you can see the city-owned property, which is delineated in yellow, and the mosque is not included within the redevelopment area that's being designated. So I think that's the first exhibit that's worth showing. Unfortunately, the amended plan that's being passed on is not on the website yet because it's not passed. So we're just
Okay.
having a technical issue getting that document.
I thought you
just
had
hashed
something we could have put up there.
on Frank's computer.
We have it
and
here.
sent it
We
to-
have it here. We have it here.
Yes, okay,
We have
so,
it here.
so I was just trying to get that up on the big screen, so.
So what this does is shows the project is, it's moving forward with the mosque in place. And that's what the other pictures are going
Can
to
I give it to
show.
you?
My suspicion is that the public that's here tonight gets the image that you're asking them to see. It's just that it's,
All right.
That's what the board told us.
Here,
Yeah.
it shows the building, and then it shows the mosque and all of the trees and the whole 9 yards, shows the whole picture of the thing.
So the key for you,
More than that.
the key for you folks is to come to the planning board meeting so you can see what the developer is presenting to the planning board, and you'll get to hear everything about the project. So pay attention for when that's coming up.
If there's any other questions that I can answer about the project, I'm more than happy to try to.
Alright, just one thing. Regarding the monitoring of the condition of the building before, during, and after. Is that part of, the plan, just like any other adjacent building to this? Whether it's a pile driving operation or any of that, are we gonna make sure that the building is staying intact?
So just based on experience with other redevelopment projects that we've done, before the developer gets the final permits and the final clearance from the building department to move forward, he will need to provide the building department with a certificate and a survey of your property, of the mosque property.
Right.
There'll be an inspection done, a visual inspection, a walk around to inventory the existing conditions, and there will have to be active site monitoring by their engineer during the entire process to ensure that no damage happens to your property. And if it does start to happen, that the project is stopped and addressed immediately. So, as the mayor alluded, there will be obviously some growing pains, and it's a big project and a tight spot. So you have to expect some inconvenience, but there it is. But you'll see.
nice.
Yeah.
Look good. It
And we're maintaining the parking to the west of the property as well. So my hope is that will be able to remain open throughout most of the construction, where you will probably pick up the vast majority of the spaces that you need. I think
In
you've
fact,
heard
the
some,
mosque is not in the way of the project, so it's no problem.
it never was in the way.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a question. Sir.
The city of Hackensack never asked the board to leave the mosque.
Yeah.
Never. They never forced the board to leave the mosque. This is what we have told from the board, that the city of Hackensack, the mayor of Hackensack, the city manager of Hackensack.
I never met with the board.
I'm telling you what he told us. He told us the mayor of Hackensack forced us to sell. The city manager of Hackensack forced us to sell. Is that happened, Mr. Mayor?
I never met with the board.
Thank you.
Never.
Our new project now, which we have no problem with, will be include our mosque. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's the rendering that the developer gives to us.
Thank
We
you.
don't make that, they do.
And during the project, you guys, the developer will have safety for our family to go in and out of the mosque.
It's in the developer's best interest to
Exactly.
not damage a mosque, believe me.
Thank you.
Public relations will not be
And if I may, you folks have very good questions. And attendance at the planning board, now you can ask the developer, their engineer, their architect, you can ask them
When is that
questions
planning board
to
meeting?
those folks at
When?
that meeting. Well, you will be noticed, because they're close enough to the,
Yeah, you'll have to be
your
noticed.
mosque will receive a notice in the mail
They
telling
don't
you.
give us
It goes to the board of trustees, that's all.
Yeah,
will let us know.
We will be there.
We'll let that stuff from us.
All right. Vinny, can you make a note to make sure Bridget sends notice? On your way out, you're gonna give some names and information.
Please.
Okay? On your way out, we'll take the information and we'll make sure you know what it's supposed to be.
Thank you.
But
Make it clear.
that thing, you can really ask, like you're speaking to the horse's mouth, you can really, we're representing the city. You can ask the question here from them.
That's a good idea.
But all of that is, the stenographer is present, all of the dialogue at that meeting is recorded. So, she writes everything down and it stays historically forever. So this way, your questions, your answers, everything will be part of that document. So as the mayor said, that's a big part for you folks to answer your questions.
Appreciate your help.
So you can see to the left. Did you want to speak, sir? Go ahead. 3 minutes. Go ahead, give your name to the clerk.
My name is Reimbursement. I'm one of the companies
Okay.
the work before. I'm used to own a villa and a restaurant in Shishak. I was watching this building in the history. Landmark in Hackensack, over 110 years. You can't knock it down.
I'm sorry, Mayor, I can't give you too much
It's a
discussion going on.
historical issue, so he's our city historian, so.
Yeah, it's a history.
He says age of the building. You know anything about the mosque?
That it's historical.
It's getting over 110 years old.
top of my head, I don't know, I don't think it's more than 100, I know originally it was the Knights of Columbus. So my guess it was probably built in the
How old are
1910?
1910?
It's 111 years.
Over 100 TV history. Landmark in Silver and it's solid building. I do construction work in this building
Yeah.
all the time. It's solid building.
I was always wondering why the city didn't buy it when the Knights of Columbus were here.
We're not for sale, Mayor.
We bought a theater already over here on Atlantic Street.
This building can be a lot more of a tracking center.
No, it is.
I have a question for you. Do you still have the bowling in the basement?
No.
That's what I remember. And now I'm aging myself, right? I remember
Oh,
that
Sam.
that it had bowling. Oh, table tennis, okay.
Long time we hear from
I think the young lady behind you would like to say, all
Sheriff.
right?
When he say he used to play there when he was a kid.
Sir, one thing's concern my kids too. You don't think there's too much development for the city of Hackensack and the police officer can handle all this capacity? These people running around all Hackensack, harassment, New York City.
That's pretty good point.
Family, have space, have room to play, to run around.
That's a good point.
They're not gonna be blessed free. The people that have the money, that's what they're gonna buy this apartments, luxury, stuff like that. They make the money, they're not concerned about us.
That's
I'm
a
telling
good
you.
point, sir.
Well, number one, you're out of, guys, we're going out of order. There's a rule of thumb, the Robert's rules. Once you speak, you can't come back up and speak. Heads up, all right? But I'm going to address that issue. We have had no issues with a rise in crime with over the 1,500 new residents we have. All right? What you have to realize, folks, is Hackensack was the mecca for shopping in Bergen County. It was the mecca where everybody came. And when the malls came, the city died. Other towns were rejuvenated and were able to recover, like Ridgewood, Westwood, Englewood, Teaneck. Hackensack didn't. Hackensack was a ghost town. From 9 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock, yeah, there was some business. At 5 o'clock, they pulled the shades down, everybody went home. Nothing happened on that street. That's not a good downtown. The only way to bring this city back, especially out of the financial straits we were in when we took over, was to redevelop our downtown and have a vibrant downtown again that was financially viable and would work and had people living here and spending their money here and creating jobs. So I understand your worries about traffic and police and fire. Every one of these buildings is fully sprinkled, all right? There's been no impact on the school system. As a matter of fact, the school system has gone down over 400 students over the last 3 years when everybody was worried that schools were going to explode. So you see redevelopment going on in every town in Bergen County right now. You go to Teaneck, you see it. You go to Englewood, it's all over the place. Ridgewood, you see it all over the place. You can't just have something that's bad and leave it that way. You can't. We'd be failing everybody. Any group of elected officials did not make this move to fix the city would be denying the taxpayers in the city a fair deal. The taxes in the city are very high to begin with, right? I pay, for a small house, I got a 60 by 100 lot, I pay close to $12,000 a year. That's insane. That's insane. You go to Paramus, the same house, you're paying $8,000, all right? And I'm in Hackensack. But I want to stay here. But we're trying to make it better so the taxpayers throughout the whole town, everybody benefits from this redevelopment. The taxes haven't gone up in Hackensack in 3 years. Do a devastating pandemic, taxes didn't go up, all right? And we're fighting to keep it as low as we can. So that's the reason why the city got redevelopment. It was out of necessity more than anything else, and to also help with our infrastructure, right? We have major flooding issues in this city, we know that, right? We've already taken care of the Main Street sewer separation, which was mandated by the state of New Jersey, which we have to do, all right? Our sewer water mixes with the storm water. And all that water has to go down to the BCUA, the Bergen County Utilities Authority, and we have to pay for that to be clean. So we're paying for rainwater to be clean along with our sewage. right? Total waste of money, all right? Not to mention when you have combined sewers, when there's an overflow or a storm, the sewers back up into people's basements and end up in the river, which is very dangerous. That work has been going on now at a tune of $40 million, all right? Doing all this work, haven't raised anybody's taxes. What do you think's paying for all this? The buildings. The buildings. How do you do all this work and not raise your taxes for 3 years in a row? The buildings pay for this, and it'll only get better as the rest of them go up. Is there a time to stop? Absolutely yes. Sooner or later, you slow it down, you lower the amount of the pilot programs that are out there, and you see what comes generically on its own, without any type of incentives. But that's where we are. But that's to answer your question. It's very important to redevelop this downtown, because otherwise you'd still have a one-way street, you'd have nobody on the street at night, you'd have no beautiful sidewalks, no beautiful trees going up, you'd have none of that, because there'd be no way to pay for it. You'd have no sewer work going on, you'd be getting fined by the state every year for all your overflows into the river because nobody's taking care of the sewers. You know, sewers are something nobody wants to take care of, you don't see it, it's underground. You know, until the state tells you, hey, you gotta fix this. So we fixed it. Yeah, did we want to be the ones to have to fix it? No, but we did it. We took it on head on. So, Ms. Rucker, you have your 3 minutes.
Good evening again. My name is Bridget. Last meeting, I did ask Ms. Canestrino a question, and the question was about the IZO ordinance with the residential preference. You did not answer it. It was a yes or no answer. You danced around it. You talked about the trust fund of the affordable housing. Did not ask you that question. I am here today to ask you again about the IZO ordinance with the residential preference. Are you going to adopt it? Talk to your colleagues about it? It is a yes or no answer. I don't need details. I don't need you to dance around it. I need straightforward. So I'm asking you again, as the community is watching, are you going to present the IZO ordinance with the residential preference to your colleagues?
Hold on. I wouldn't answer that. She's not going to answer that without giving an explanation. I'm sorry, because she's going to give you a yes or a no, and you're going to take it and run to your group and say she said no without an explanation.
They're watching. I'm not running.
They can watch.
They're watching.
You're going to answer. She's going to answer the question, and she's going to explain it. Because every question
It
needs
was
to have
a
an
yes or
explanation.
no answer from the beginning, and the minute you jumped in, John, you just put it on the.
Ma'am,
That's
I'm the
100%.
mayor, I run the meeting, it's
Yeah,
my
okay.
job to jump
Be
in.
careful.
I know when
Just
someone's
be
being
careful.
set
I'm
up.
just telling y'all, be
I know
careful.
it's set up when I see it.
The Muslim community, please be watchful and careful.
Okay. Go ahead and answer the question, but explain it. Or do you want me to answer it?
The answer to the question is, as always, anything that's presented to this council is taken under consideration for discussion. And we are doing exactly the same thing to Ms. Rucker, and I gave that answer last time. Maybe it was not to you, maybe it was to Ms. Davis when she asked the question. We have a fair share housing plan. We worked for 5 years to get this fair share housing plan. And at this point, the city is moving forward with that 5-year plan.
Let me continue on that. The fair share housing, which we have an obligation to meet, that's why these 60 units in this building meet that obligation for fair share housing, that we have to have these units, all right? City needs them. Fair share housing says the buildings have to be available inclusionary. In that case, it means not just people from Hackensack, people from other towns, people from other counties. Now, we as a council, I'll be honest with you, I would prefer that it be available for Hackensack citizens. We're Hackensack elected officials. We want to take care of our people. We don't make that rule. The state makes the rule. All right? We're building 60 units. It's costing the taxpayers a lot of money to do it. It's costing the developer a lot of money to do it. But it's getting done. All right? In the meanwhile, anybody from the inclusionary area, which I believe is Bergen County, Passaic County, and Essex County, can have a shot at renting these apartments. All right? And like I said, so what Ms. Rucker is alluding to is she wants us to make it so it's just Hackensack. Well, if we made it so it was just Hackensack, we get no credit for the 60 units.
Here is fair share housing sitting right next to me.
No, You tell me where they can, fair share housing, you wanna come up here and tell me that we can make it just for Hackensack?
We do it tomorrow. We
We'll
can
do it
get ready
tomorrow.
for it. We can't.
Do it tomorrow. But fair share housing's telling us, and our fair share housing attorney is telling us it has to include other counties and other towns. Please give your name to the clerk.
Alright, good. Yeah, Alamo Kansas Fair Share Housing Center. Alamo Kansas. Yeah, so following up on George's comments, we're really here to move beyond these 60 units because the community of Hackensack is.
We already have met that obligation, it's in our judgment with them, and that case is coming up. We have included 2 inclusionary zones where all buildings have to be 10% requirement.
Yes.
Wait, can I just ask you one question? We have to come to a conclusion about this. These 60 units, and I've been working on this for 5 years with the folks, and we have multiple attorneys that advise us this way. These 60 units, to meet our obligation, cannot be restricted to Hackensack residents only. Is that true or not true? Because that's what I've been told for 5 years, and if someone is telling me bad information, I'm gonna be very unhappy. Because as the mayor said, if it was up to me, 100% I would want them for Hackensack residents, 100% I would. But I'm being told that I cannot do that to meet my requirement. And if we don't meet our requirement, all of this money that we're putting into a trust fund, millions of dollars, all right, could be yanked from us because we would not have fair share housing, blessing and approval, and could be spent somewhere else. Worst case, but I worry about worst case. The council worries about worst case. Because we have to. Our responsibility is to protect all of our citizens, all of our residents. And we have this agreement, it's part of our ordinance that people can contribute to this fund, and that is how we're going to ensure that we get more affordable housing, because we'll have the funds to do so without impacting our taxpayers.
Yeah, I just want to clarify, the 60 units are to meet Hackensack's Maloro obligation, because of the previous prior round, those units weren't met, and so Hackensack is taking some steps to ensure that it meets its obligation under the prior round. To clarify and add to what Bridget is asking also, what the work group is looking for the council to do for the community is to take an additional step and move beyond the 60 units and ensure that there's a citywide inclusionary zoning ordinance moving forward whenever this new redevelopment is a 20% set aside for Hackensack residents, and also it'll be within the discretion of the city to implement residence preference for those new housing units that come about, not these 60, but new ones that will come about from the inclusionary zoning ordinance. Of course, if the city decides to make that step, and that's really the question where it's coming from, to see how you guys are open to taking that step and moving beyond the 60 units and adopting a citywide inclusionary zoning law.
If I can, part of the 5 years of negotiating with Fair Share is we're listening to them. Right? We want to do this. We want to meet our requirement, and we want to build as much affordable housing as it's what makes sense for this city. That's our plan, right? And Fair Share, they made the rules. Okay, they came and they said, you want this to be approved, here's what we want you to do. We want you to create these overlay zones that pretty much surround the downtown. So as the development spreads outside this area, they will not be able to buy out of the fair share, out of their obligation to build. They will be required to build 10%. Now, this is our negotiation with them to get this agreement done. And believe me, nobody wants to get this agreement done more than this council. Because we're protecting ourselves. Right? We're protecting ourselves as a city, we're protecting our residents and our taxpayers. So our goal is, here's what Fair Share is asking of us, guess what, we're gonna do it.
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
we're gonna do it because we have an obligation, first and foremost, to protect the city and to protect the taxpayers here. Now, going forward, if other items are presented, we will always take them under consideration. But our job here is to make hard decisions. But we will listen, we will review, but right now, our primary focus is let us come to terms as we have with Fair Share, and let's get our agreement done and protect our city. So that's, and I've tried to explain that multiple times, but that is where we are.
Agreed. But a lot of it is, there has to be a generic factor here, because once we're gonna have the 60 units done, then we're gonna have these 2 overlay zones. creating
Three.
it, correct?
Three.
Three overlay zones, all right? That's gonna have to happen generically, all right? And we need to see where that goes. We really need to see where that goes. We need to see if the development community, because they're the key players here. They really are, along with the taxpayers, because it costs taxpayers a ton of money to build affordable housing. You can't say it doesn't. And they're the key players here. We have to see what the market's doing. Are they gonna come in and, yeah, we're gonna continue building Hackensack in these overlay zones and meet that 10% obligation. You know what? When that starts to work, we would consider it. But it's gotta go in steps. You just can't do, well, we're doing 60 here, then we're doing 10% inclusionary in 3 different areas, or, you know, 10% mandatory. And yes, we're gonna throw another area of 20% throughout the city. To me, that's an overload all at one time. You have to move it forward gradually. That's, you know, we're meeting our obligation. Let me ask you a question. How many, 70 communities in Burke County? Let's say Hackensack with this 60 meets its obligation. How many other communities don't meet their obligation in Burke County? Offhand, let's say Paramus. How many units is Paramus short? Would you say?
I can look and share that information with you.
I'm hearing they're close to 800 to 1,000 units short of Paramus. Nobody says, bro, we're meeting our obligation and moving forward in a positive way, and we're still getting hammered.
Well, again, I commend you guys, personally, I would say I commend you guys for taking steps to meet your obligation. I'm here in support of the Hackensack community. We're looking to the council to take additional steps to ensure that moving forward, when there's new redevelopment projects, that affordable housing is secured for low-income members of the Hackensack community.
Is there any projects that can be done that are totally just for Hackensack residents, that the fair share of housing would give us credit for?
Well, once you meet your obligation, you've met your obligation moving
Right.
forward.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but you have to be
Well, there's future-
prepared.
but there's
You're not
future
just
rounds of
trying to
obligations.
Another round. We are trying to support the city and be prepared and continue to add units that
2025.
are going to campus. 2025 is gonna be right around the corner. So we're acting, I believe, as a council in a totally responsible way. And I think the mayor said it very clearly, and we've tried to say it clearly, but obviously we're not getting our point across. We are supporting the plan that came before us with fair share housing, and we're going to, exactly as the mayor said, this is another step in the right direction. You can't buy out of it, it's 10%, you have to build here, and let's see how it goes. And then maybe we're ready for another step. Should we just say that this was step one, maybe we're gonna have another step, or maybe we're not. If it's a failure, we're gonna have to come up with another way to do it. But we are taking the guidance given to us by the state, and we're following that plan. And that is where we are, and that's the decision we've made. So if that's the answer to her question, I'm hoping it is. I think we've said it almost every council meeting. Hopefully, maybe you can
That's not the answer to the question.
It's just obviously she doesn't understand.
But I'm gonna go back to my question. There is no credit for fair share housing if it's not inclusionary to other areas, correct?
This, again, for the 60 units, you get
I
credit
understand that.
for your
I
obligation.
understand, but I'm talking about the overlay zone, right? Has to include the same thing, same geographical area, has to be open to everybody, correct? Or
Yes, and that is,
And if we did not do that, and turned around and said, well, this 60 units in this building are gonna be just for Hackensack residents, they would not count towards fair share housing. So there lies the problem. We need to protect the citizens of Hackensack and people who need affordable housing at the same time by making sure we're meeting our obligation with fair share housing. They make the rules, we don't make the rules. The other way is it
And to
under the rules?
protect our trust fund that we want spent here so we can do more work and that we need to get done. So there's very solid reasons why we're making these decisions. And I don't know how else to express it.
again.
And I hope you understand it and maybe you can explain it to the work group. Because I can't, I feel like I'm a failure. Usually I can explain things, but I guess.
I understand where you guys are coming from. Again, just to clarify, what I'm here to do is to support the Hackensack community. And they're coming to their council and saying, they're looking for you guys to take additional steps beyond your obligation.
We've
And
taken tremendous strides with affordable housing. No one in the years past hasn't, since this council come along, not to this level. And, you know, my question is, so what do we gain? All right, let's say we go outside the purview of fair share housing. We build, we build a 300 unit complex and we put 60 affordable units in there, all right? That's, is that 20%? Yeah, 20%, okay? And for doing that, Fair Share Housing comes in and takes our affordable trust money away, which might be upwards of $5 to $10 million. Is that a smart move?
Well, that is not the situation here. We know you guys have met your obligation.
But we're hearing about the obligation's gonna change within the next 3 or 4 years.
2025 will be a whole
Our
nother
population is increasing, we're gonna have to be obligated to do more fair share housing, that's why we have the overlay zone. Anyway,
I think we've explained it. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm exhausted. I think I've explained it as much as I possibly can. And that is where we are, and that is the plan we're going to execute. So,
Just to clarify, I'm not looking for an SI.
I understand.
Support of the community.
And
We're
if you can help us explain it, I will be eternally
We're
grateful.
working very hard with
Sorry,
Fair
I would
Share
have
Housing.
ultimate respect for you if you could help us explain it properly. I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
sir, can you just give me your name and title again?
Ellen McKenzie, Housing Organizer, Fair Share Housing.
Sorry, Allen,
Elorm, E-L-O-R-M,
E-L-O-R-M.
Ocansey, O-C-A-N-S-E-Y, Housing Organizer, Fair Share Housing.
thank you, sir, appreciate it.
And just one more question, are you here from, on your own accord, or are you speaking officially on behalf of Fair Share Housing, or are you speaking as a member of the community, speaking to, more informally?
Here in my capacity, Fair Share Housing said in support of the.
Okay,
work group.
all right.
Okay.
Fair enough, I appreciate it, thank you.
Good man, good man.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Anybody else want to speak
We love
first?
you.
I just wait 1 minute. Does anyone else want to speak? Before we
No,
vote?
that's enough.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Safely, everyone.
We love you guys.
Have a good night.
We wish you fair.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll lecture again, Mayor. Thank you.
Take care.
I don't buy it now, because I'm a bowling alley.
Mayor, thank you. We'll lecture you 4 more years.
Have a good night.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you, everyone. See you at the planning.
Gonna be your mayor.
Yes, Al? Okay. I see people from Costa sometimes when I stop for coffee early in the morning. Yes. Yes.
Very good.
They make a good breakfast. Right? They do. Colombian, but it's good breakfast. Okay?
Go look, I'll start the story and have him look it up. Thank you. Have a good night, sir.
Demetrius, you have nothing to say? Motion to close the meeting to the public.
Second.
Roll call.
Oh.
A motion to close it to the public, sorry.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion to close the meeting.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I didn't think that was said.
We got it out.
Nobody will listen.
It's all good.